society anthem. Let your voices be heard. Restoration. Our action speaks the word. True SDGs action. Instead of better way, our society leads the way. Unilag a mighty carry far. Honestly, and knowledge address reach higher. Read of furniture, healing, restore the earth. Taking bold actions, embracing each neighbor. We will walk with all our might. Thousands of power, let our voices be heard. For ecological restoration, our action speaks the words through SDGs action. We spread the better way, our society leads the way. We united purpose, we stand breaking up the challenge, breaking every wall. Together we create a greener, brighter sky for future generations. Enduring new future, we will walk with all our might. Let your voices be heard. For ecological restoration, our action speaks the most to SDGs action. We spread the better way, our society leads the way. As the front of all be a beautiful, we proudly explore the role of a youth. United we achieve US noble goal. For nature restoration, we make the whole and whole. We will work with all our might. Let your voices be heard. For ecological restoration, our action speaks the words through SDG action. We say the better way, our society lead the way. Thank you. I really hope that I managed that we all sing the society anthem. Thank you for the lovely words. Now, we can sit down. We are welcome to the house today, the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Alida, Hospital of United. Also, joining him is the CEO of the Fossil Nature Park, Dr. Yata. Welcome, sir. I also invite to the hearing today Mr. Dr. Felicia Tashana. Also today, England today is Mrs. Faith Unilag.
Okay, we would also like to invite to the table Mrs. Abena. Let's put your hands together for. Also to the right table, I welcome Mrs. Edith, representing Dr. Ajayi from University of Lagos School. I recognize the presence of all invited guests from FECA. Please, Federal Ministry of Environment, we would like you to come and sit in the front row. Mrs. Oluwatoyin. Okay, please stand up for recognition. All invited guests from Federal Ministry of Environment. Please, you can move to the front. So, we also recognize all stars from Star School. Please stand up for recognition. Thank you for coming. I also want to invite to the front row the MBCO of Urban Environment System Consultants Limited, Mr. Victor Uchenbari. You are welcome, sir. As the program progresses, will introduce our guest. Please, the welcome address followed by Dr. Excellence Akindele. Please put your hands together for him. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to use this opportunity to recognize the presence of the head department of geology, represented by Dr. Sola. So welcome. I want to thank our important guest of today, the speaker. That is in the person of the CEO of the Lufasi Park, Dr. Majo Kutumi. Yes, welcome you, sir. You're welcome. I want to welcome all our highly esteemed friends, collaborators, and searchers, as well as the pressmen present, and all the ladies, and as well as all the gentlemen, and all the members of the Society for Conservation, Ecological Restoration. I welcome every one of you. On behalf of the Society for Ecological Restoration University of Lagos, I'm pleased to announce that the team of our whole committee and yes, the theme of this year's conference underscored the vital role that young individuals play in shaping the future of our planet. As we confront the environmental challenges before us today, it is imperative that we harness the energy, the passion, and the innovative thinking of the youth to drive the sustainable goals home. The conference will serve as a platform for knowledge exchange, collaboration, and inspiration through engaging discussion, insight presentation, and interactive workshop. We will empower young people like ourselves to become catalysts for change in our society, carrying out ecological restoration. We will share experiences, ideas, and aspirations, and collectively chart a path towards a more sustainable future. The world at this point, at this critical juncture, planet for the years to come. By embracing the power of youth-led initiatives, innovative technologies, and community engagement, we can accelerate progress towards the SDG and create a world where ecological restoration and sustainable development goals go hand in hand. And that is why we are seated this morning. So I want to encourage every one of us present to buckle up and to sit right and get ready for a great transformation. So we have the stage is set. So many things have been set in order today. And I want us to just get ourselves ready. And as we do so, our goals of restoring our planet will become a reality. Once again, I welcome everyone this morning. I say you are once again welcome to this great occasion. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for that very inspiring speech, sir. Without wasting time, I would also like to take the address by the Dean of Science. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, Professor Kosola, FAS. Conference. And on behalf of the staff and the students, you are very welcome. Our first speaker of the day, welcome you, the University of Lagos, and all our guests from staff school, you are all coming here, and we believe that because if you look at the theme of the conference per se, it's about youth and that we are all talking about. How do we empower our youth? Because the brothers are getting older and the youth are coming behind. I don't talk about biography of our guest speaker here. The little I can say here, I see that it's no longer a young man. It's getting old. And the battle must be passed on to the younger ones. And those are the people that will carry it along. And they will also pass it along to the younger generation. And the thing itself, when you look at it, it's a very critical one. You're trying to look at ecological restoration. And this is one of the major areas that is of concern to any society. If the environment is not conserved, then we have problems ahead. If you go to so many places now where we used to have vegetation in those days, trees, rubbers and things like that, they are no longer there. They are all cut down. And they are affecting the environment. So I believe that for those of us that are here today, I think it is a privilege. How I wish I had the time to stay here, despite the fact that I'm a physicist. I would have loved to be part of this conference because I know that many things, the ecological restoration, particularly the best speaker who is very fast in this area. I read a little thing about him here, and he has contributed immensely in this area. It's a body of knowledge, so to say. Please, I encourage every one of us that is present here for this program to listen attentively, and I believe we are going to gain a lot. And our children that are here, don't think that you will not understand what they are going to say. You will bring the discussion down to your level so that you can understand. And I believe that from here today, you can start building your career. And that is one of the reasons why you are being brought here. Listen to them very well. Every bit of what they are going to say, at the end of the day, if you don't understand anything, You connect around and ask them. They will bring it down to your level. Is that clear? You are not here for folks. You are not here for any other ceremony. But order down for you to listen to what the speakers are going to say. I thank everyone. I believe that at the end of the day, every one of us we have one or two things to take away from this place. Thank you very much. I wish you happy conclusion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I'm afraid I will get this speech. I want to invite to the program the guest speaker, the CEO of the Signature Park, Mr. Desmond Yagapedini. I am personally happy because I'm putting a face to the news that I know. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, it's a pleasure to be here. First of all, I just want to address these young people here. Oh, gentlemen and ladies on the high table, I don't know if it would be too much of a burden to come down because it's going to be a very visual presentation. We can start the presentation now while I'm talking to these young ones. Put the presentation on. Presentation. Presentation. Okay, young people, I want to ask you a question. If you love your mother, let me hear you say yes. So, do you love your mother? You know, I don't want to eat the dinner tonight. Your mother, so they're feeding you, giving you everything that you need. Okay, if you love your mother, stand up, and let me hear you say yes. Sir. Okay. I know that you love your mother. And you are right here because of the ultimate mother, who is Mother Nature. Who is she? Mother Nature. She gives us everything that we need. Water comes from her systems, food comes from her, medicine, clothing, everything. So what we're trying to do today is to persuade all of us to understand that we need to love Mother Nature very well. Dear beloved children, you can sit down. Thank you. That's the future. That's the hope. Okay. See what we got. Let me come a bit closer to this. Today is a very momentous occasion, and a little bit closer to the end, I'll go back into history about what I did here 33 years ago. We've been on this thing for quite some time now, 33 years ago. Okay, addressing climate change, and we'll go into why we're addressing climate change specifically, because it's a crisis. Children, what is it? Louder, what is it? Crisis. And in the medical field, when you're faced with a crisis, I remember my dad, he was running some hospitals, I think Massey Street, yes. 2 o'clock in the morning, you come and call him, Dr. Maja Kudome, there's emergency, there's crisis. And they would have to rush there at 2 o'clock in the morning because crisis means that the patient is in a critical condition. And they will put that patient into the emergency ward to save the life of the patient. We are in a crisis. And we're going to go into the reasons why did we allow ourselves to get into this crisis. You know what this is? Okay, what does this look like? It's a picture of space. But all these bright lights that you see, what are they? In a way, you're right. But actually, each one of these lights that you see here is a galaxy.
Oh, as in it's not changing.
I can be saying many here for the next 100 years, and I will not shed as many as there are in space. Each one of these, oh, I beg your pardon, each one of these is a galaxy, okay? Now, the galaxy that we are in, this is called the Milky Way galaxy. But just to put it into perspective, do you know how many stars are inside this whole galaxy that we are in? Billions! Not even tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of stars. And before that, we saw all the galaxies that were there. We saw all the galaxies, eh? We saw galaxies. And each one of those galaxies have billions and billions. Billions of stars. We'll sort this out. Okay. This is our all right. Yeah, you got it. Operator, you want make a go?
No. Hold on.
Don't worry, you'll get it right. You'll get it right. It's the presentation. Put the presentation on. So anyway, the reason why we brought that to you, presentation. Okay? Slideshow. I think that. Okay. What was earlier? Sit down, everybody, sit down. We're talking about nature. We're talking about our very life support system here. So the reason why I went into the pictures of the galaxies, and then we turned and we saw that those galaxies, there are millions and millions, if not billions of the galaxies go, okay? Right, okay, we're working, don't touch anything, it's working. Right, there are galaxies, okay? Billions of those galaxies, okay? And each galaxy is like this, which is our galaxy, and there are billions of stars in our galaxy. And there are trillions of planets in our galaxy. Many solar systems. We try to get this thing into perspective. So that we can identify who we are and what we're doing. We're in a crisis. Okay? But this is what I don't children. Solar system. Okay, planet Earth is just hanging around that one of those small ones there. Okay? Tiny little dot in space. But wow, tiny little dot, with all our research and we've seen a lot of planets, it's the only one that has the capacity to support life. The only one that has all those gases in the atmosphere to trap just enough heat and to take out all the negative rays and so on. The only one that is in harmony. That is why we call it the miracle of nature. It's a miraculous thing. There she is. Planet Earth. Okay, this guy called Yuri Gagarin. He was the first human being who went into space. Okay? And he was the first of the people who had what they call overview effect. Okay? It's a change that happens when people see the world from far above and notice that it's a place where borders are invisible, where racial, religious, and economic strife are nowhere to be seen. The overview effect makes a man's squabbles with one another seem incredibly petty. Incredibly petty. And presents the planet as it truly is. One interconnected organism. And then there's another astronaut called Ron Garan, and he explains it more closely. Okay? He said, when I looked out of the window, I saw the unbelievable thinness
Unless the ratio of the atmosphere, the width of the ratio of the atmosphere is about the size of tissue paper when you compare it to the ratio of the thickness of the earth. Very well. That keeps every living thing on our planet alive. Very well, like tissue paper. Hey! And on this one, they won't spoil. He said that the issue is that we're just looking at commercializing all this aspect of things, and we're leaving a lie. Kofi Annan, I think some of you will recognize him. Great man, the first African Secretary General of the United Nations. And the United Nations is not a small organization. When they call meeting, 90% of world leaders must go to that meeting. Yes. And Kofi Annan, Secretary General. And what did he say? What did he say? The world is reaching the tipping point. The tipping point want to fall over the edge, and it becomes irreversible. You can't go back. But when did he say this? Oh, 20 years ago, the science was coming down the line, and the scientists were saying you can no longer continue this terrible destruction that you're perpetrating on the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is what's keeping us alive. And yet, they are pumping the poison, pumping the poison, pumping the poison. If I bring a big generator inside this room now, and I start the generator, you never stay here. Oh, you won't stay here. Because you don't want to die. You don't want to die. Because when you burn fossil fuel, it gives off toxic poison and it will kill you. 6 million people are dying around the world every year because of all the toxic poison that's going on out there. And it's affecting the environment. That thing there. That's why it's what crisis. The moment of no return is no longer over the horizon, it is in sight and hurtling towards us. That's the President Secretary General. Recent scientific data. 300 years from archaeological investigation, we've seen that it's never reached this level before. And we're pumping it. We're going to make the money now. I think which one you do? Come on, we're going to make the money. Okay. I want to destroy our life support system. So let's relate it to the wonderful sustainable development goals. Wonderful for the United Nations. Wonderful goals. All of them fantastic. And of course, as an environmentalist, goal 13, 14, 15, 16, particularly close to my heart. However, there's one goal that if that is not met quickly, all this become useless. One particular goal there. Who can identify it? Which one of the goals is more important than all the others? They're very important. Okay, which one do you think it is? Protecting, that's very good. Good try. But the most important way to protect the planet is to address the most urgent situation, and that is, that 2024 is going to be the hottest year ever recorded by humanity in living memory. And in the last 10 years, we had 4 of the hottest years. And 30 years ago, the scientists told us this is what will happen if you continue pouring millions and millions of tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere and upsetting God's incredible system. And we just continued. In 2015, we had a meeting in Paris, a COP conference. That's when they all get together. And they said, okay, we're going to reduce. We can't continue this way. We must reduce At 25, yeah, crisis. And okay, you want to see the reaction? Here we are, Lagos. Okay, this is Unilag by the other side. Okay. So if we just continue increasing the temperature, it's already almost reaching 1.5, which is the critical point. After 1.5 to 2, after 2, you cannot stop it. It just continues. There's many things that will continue that tipping point cycle. One of them is the ice caps. Another one is the forest. If the forest die back and the forest start to be the ones that are actually creating the carbon dioxide, then you're going to have this kind of situation. All this is underwater. Unilag is underwater if we continue. So, the want to stop the pollution. Money. Come on, man. I just got a brand new SUV, and my neighbor, he got the newest one. Up and down, my neighbor, they having an SUV that's new. Me, I must get the newest one. And the private jet is already finding. Well, I got the SUV. Now, that what for Unilag. God forbid this shall be our portion. It's only the children can say, man. I said, God forbid, oh. Yeah. My people, this is it. This is really it. It's a crisis, you know. It's a crisis. Yeah, Alpha Beach, no. Go. All these coconut trees there, gone. They're gone already. They don't go. They don't go. I was so sad to see them going. This picture was taken about 20 years ago. All gone. Erosion. One of the manifestations of climate change. One of the manifestations that we are warned about. That the seas will get more virulent, you know, simple science, add heat to water or any other system. The system gets more energetic, you get stronger waves, you get. And we've known about this, and we continued. Okay, you see this house here, 2021. This house here, Alpha Beach, back down. You see the house? 2022, February, September. Look, see the gap. Oh, about 100 meters. 2021, 22, 23. Now it's gone completely. Gone completely. We've lost this year alone, we've lost about 50 meters. We've been shouting to government, do something about this, do something about it. Then we were shouting way back. Anyway, I had a few failures in those days. Save the Lake Coast. What are they talking about? The coast has gone. Yeah. I don't retire. That's why I'm so happy. I'm so glad that we got young people now who are going to pick it up, going to carry the gauntlet, going to carry the baton because it's your future that's at stake. Yeah, we've tried, you know. But I guess I didn't try hard enough, man. So we did another one again. Save the coast, Lucky Coast. Hey, this time Governor Fashola did something. Yeah, he did something. He tried to get ecological fund money. And at the end of the day, he did something. It can't be safe, it can't be protected. But we need to do a lot more, my people. And it's not just our coast, you know. Yeah, Secretary General. Humanity is watching war on nature. It's suicidal. That's serious, you know. And it should have had this infanticidal as well. Because nature is our children's life support system. So on what basis, can you justify doing that? Affecting our life support system. He said it is suicidal. I'm not feeling doubtful because maybe we're talking too much truth to authority. nation with reinforced our theory. Yeah. We need to change course now and end our senseless and suicidal war against nature. We know what to do, and increasingly we have the tools to do it, but we still lack leadership and cooperation. So today I appeal to all leaders in all sectors. And it's not just our coast in Lagos. This is the different places. This is Ondo. Ondo. Again, let's go. I think that wasn't bad enough. The way the desert is moving in, and that's one of the driving factors of the insecurity, because there's some wonderful people that were living in those areas. I was there many years ago, young guys feeding their flocks, feeding their cows. They were happy. They didn't want to move anywhere. And then the desert is moving in. And you see, the cow has not evolved enough to survive on sand. I know Sabi job sand, though. Grass is the job. So desert moving in, I mean, that's a whole other story, but it's not quite as urgent as the coastal erosion. Greenhouse gas emissions keep growing, global temperatures keep rising, and our planet is fast approaching tipping points that will make climate chaos irreversible. We cannot accept our attention is not focused on climate change. It is a defining issue of our age. It is a central challenge of our century. It is unacceptable, outrageous, and self-defeating. To put it on the back burner. No, we're on a highway to climate hell. With our foot still on the accelerator. Hey, so you don't say, oh, I heard someone the other day. Very nice. But that's another talk for another time. Because that Kurupe, you get MOT at all. You don't settle, I settled there, and it's just there, and I really felt sorry for the lovely people in there, all the metal and everything. And then that's a talk for another time. But inside the Kurupe now, it's pressing acceleration. And you're coming to where the bridge is going to take you over, and the bridge is broken. And it's still pressing the accelerator. Ordinarily, you move your foot for your accelerator, you can't do that. And you're inside that thing, and your children are there with you. And you're saying, for God's sake, slow down, slow down. You're going to hit a double bed, then you will not be able to come back. Once the Columbia has gone down, can you jump back up again? Whoa. Go back this way. Yeah. Check this out. This is what they're saying. All the things. Yeah, look at it. Suicidal. Racing towards climate. Look at the accelerator. Come on. Point of no return. Next slide, please, my brother. Is it possible? The most intellectual creature to ever walk the planet is destroying us all. No, we gotta get into that. Remember, we started with the stairs. Here we are in this tiny little dot of the planet. It's smaller than a grain of sand when you take this ratio with the ratio of the various galaxies. If I give it just our own galaxy, and we've been given the duty to look after it. But because of our wickedness and our greed, we gotta have more. You see, one thing I discovered in my farm, as with Fassi Park, and I pray that you'll be able to come to the Fassi Park and enjoy yourself. There's one thing I discovered. When I planted the mango and I planted the coconut tree, after 25 years, I never saw coconut come out of the mango tree. And I never saw the coconut tree producing mango. So now I know this sense. I'm not a very wise person. In fact, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. And one thing I know for sure is that whatsoever you sow, when it comes to nature, you cannot plant cassava and harvest cocoa. Yeah? So how do I this destruction into nature? Do I know the consequences? Action begets reaction. There's a reason why our earth has been circulating around the sun for eons and eons and the moon around the earth because they, as you know, scientists, law of action begetting reaction. And by the way, it's a scripture as well. Oh, do not deceive, God is not look for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. And it's there in the Holy Quran as well. Oh, Ya Khalifa, upon the earth, oh. He may try you through what he has given you. Oh, boom. Next, please. You see that dilemma we were talking about, he spent a lot of time there. A lot of time. But in the end, he said, we need to move from thinking economy, society, planet, to planet, society, economy. That's when we're going to continue our evolutionary process. Profit people, the word children, what? Loud children. Again, because we've been putting profit ahead of the people. And that's what's driving us to the tip of the breakdown that we cannot repair. We don't have the technology to repair it. So, my dear people, youth and future generations most impacted by the current rapid destruction of ecosystems, they also stand to benefit the most from a restoration economy. The UN decade strategy link with the well-being of youth and the goals of restoration, education, forestation will turn today's children into ecosystem ambassadors and provide skills for sustainable jobs. And this is something I'd love for you to check out. The United Nations General Assembly has declared the next 10 years, okay, decade of ecosystem restoration. And it's there in the website, okay? Let's check out that website. It's very, very, very revealing. It's going to really, really talk to you, especially you students who are here. Next, please. That's the website, okay? There's never been a more urgent need. Never been. There's never ever been a more urgent need. You people are on the cutting edge of something here. In this particular department. Yes. In fact, I told the people from the Ministry of Environment, yes. I mentioned to the Commissioner, we also said it to Mr. Governor, we're going to change the name of the Ministry of Environment to Ministry of Life Support System. Oh, people! Minister of the Life Support System. Okay, we'll prove it right now. Children, we're going to try a test now. I need to have everybody here. We're going to try a test, and this test is something that we always ask when you come to the passive part, young people especially, and we say, okay, we're going to do a scientific test to prove that looking after nature is the most important thing you can do. We're going to ask you a question, and if you say yes and do this thing, we're going to give you a big prize. 500,000 naira will be yours. If you can do this, what we're going to ask you. You want to hear the question? Okay, 500,000, but the money is safe. Can you hold your breath for 10 minutes? There was one lady from university. Oh, there was a lady from Unilag. Unilag lady. Eh? When she heard about the money, she said, I can do it. I can do it. So they held our nose, held them out, we were counting 1, 2, 93, 94, 95. You know the last 10 minutes. Okay, why can you not hold your breath for 10 minutes? What is it that you need? Oxygen. Oxygen, okay? Come on. The most vital life support system. You know, which after 10 minutes you're taken out, man. Nature is giving it to you free of charge, all these green leaves. And that's one of the reasons I love Unilag so much. It's a very green campus. Very, very green campus. I love Unilag. And I've been there before. So this is the first part. Let's just go through that quickly. That's our part, which some of you are going to be coming to on Saturday. Yep. Next, please. Yep. Next, please. Yeah, that's what I see. Keep going. Keep going. That's what I see. And now, we're going to go into a little bit of memory lane of when I was last year. Then we're going to close on this one. I said I was here 35 years ago. Next, please. Okay. is me and my late wife, Sheila and Dad Majak, the Conservation Music Roadshow. This is why we did in Unilag in your main hall our first music concert as environmentalists. Next, please. Next, please. Right, you see? Look. 2nd of February, 1990. 1990. Yeah, auditorium, up and down. Hey! That's how we did it. Next, please, before we wrap this up. Next, please, before we wrap it. And that's the album that came out of it, you know? Yeah, yeah. The only thing is that, let's do that. We're going to close now. The only thing is that I wasn't allowed to sing. Because Sheila was the computers go back, let's look at Sheila. Sheila was an incredible singer, and I wasn't allowed to sing. So I was actually the rapper. Yeah, yeah. You want to hear it? Yeah, you want to hear it? Okay, but then you got to join. Okay, and there's a chorus. And the chorus is, isn't it time we started feeling? That's the chorus, okay? Isn't it time we started feeling? Okay, but then you got to clap, okay? Clap. Now the band is the one the fire screen and touch the list to put the painkillers going. See, when they run a lot of inside grind, in a small situation, time is always upon it, isn't it time? Isn't it time? Now, everybody tell me what to do out there, I'm going to check it out, what to do. Oh, I'm going to turn around, tell the man on the body side, that's a lot. Oh, the telephone balance is going on, the telephone side, the telephone, that's what the balance for 35 years ago in the auditorium here. That's what we were promoting, and that's why I'm so glad to be back at this citadel of learning, this citadel of wisdom, this citadel of information, and definitely, yeah, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we don't finish. Papa don't tire. Okay, next. No, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. And I pray that we can really, really take it. How many of you are coming to University Park on Saturday? There's a whole bunch of you coming. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you now. We'll continue the process. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you. I'm sorry, this is electric and energetic. Look at all of it, sir. We will invite you again. We need to take some guests from the... yes, Papa. Thank you, sir. I was sitting at the back and I'm telling the guys that I thank you. Let the courage tell us all the members here. This conference is an applause. It's a challenge. It's a challenge of duty. Our world is protecting and safeguarding this modern nature. We have a lot to do. All essence of sustainability. I have remembered that somebody told me that Nigeria have used our fathers, forefathers have used resources in a way that young children and poor children may not be able to see to enjoy the benefits of nature. This is a call to all of us that we should start protecting and preserving nature so that young children's children will enjoy the benefits of nature. Without stopping too much, we never had enough of conservation from and Mr. Major Koban. Thank you once again. We move to the presentation of awards. And please, we do expect to invite back everybody on the eye table. Please let us go back to the eye table. We do respect that. I also want to, while we are moving back to the eye table, I want to recognize the presence of the eye table importantly and invite her to the eye table as well. Yes, we will need you to project the citation of Dr. Adesoji, Professor Adesoji. Yes, for Professor, she will read the citation of Professor Adesoji.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, everybody. My name is Omota Ejala, and I'll be reading the citation of Professor Adewapo Akinseti. He is widely recognized as one of Nigeria's foremost plant ecologists. Having dedicated many years to teaching and research, Professor Adesoji retired from the Department of Botany at the University of Lagos. Throughout his distinguished career, he has acquired extensive field experience in West African vegetation, making significant contribution to the field of plant and ecology. Throughout his career, Professor Adesoji has demonstrated a profound commitment to advancing the field of plant ecology in Nigeria. His research, teaching, and contribution has been instrumental in expanding our understanding of what West African vegetation and its ecological processes. His work has not only contributed to the scientific community, but has also provided valuable insights for conservation, policymakers, and environmentalists seeking to protect sustainability and manage Nigeria's rich plant heritage. Professor Adeopo Akinsaji is a consultant for Nigeria Conservation Foundation, NCF Conservation Project in Taraba State. He is also a member of the NCF Scientific Committee and actively participates in the Association for Tropical Biology and Conservation. So I want us to join our hands together and welcome Professor Adeopo Akinsaji.
Yes, brother. The director of the department represents Professor Adesoji. This award will be presented by the Dean of Faculty of Science.
Professor Adesoji, for those of us that know him very well, is dedicated academician. He has done a lot of work in this area. He has retired, but he's not tired. If not tomorrow, he's still working. In absentia, I have the head of the department of Botany here, who happened to be one of his mentees too in the department. He has mentored so many of our colleagues. Now, on behalf of the Society for Ecological Restoration, University of Lagos Student Chapter, Service to Excellence Award is ever presented to Professor Adeopo Akinsaji in recognition of your outstanding service and contributions to ecological restoration. Given this day, 28th of November 2023. Congratulations.
Now I wish that you meet Professor Akisaji. Thank you very much for the presentation, the Dean Faculty of Science. I am going to take the citation of Professor Rosemary Ebanya. The citation will be projected and read online. Will be projected, right? So I will.
Professor Egonwo Rosemary, honoring excellence in ecological restoration.
Invite Dr. Fedora to please receive the award on behalf of Professor Rosemary Egonwa. The award is represented by Mr. Majakabini. The next awardee is Dr. Brilliant Adesanya Ajayi, and I will invite Ms. Edith to receive the award on behalf of Mrs. Ajayi, Dr. Brilliant Ajayi. Yes, please wait for her citation.
You want to read it?
Dr. Juliet Adesidi Ajayi, born on September 19, 1962, hails from the Agerian family of Pastor Joshua Adedeke Oyibode in Igara, Oke. It is local town in Ondo State that shares boundary with Ekiti and Osun State. She received her primary and secondary education in Igara, Oke, and Akure respectively. Beginning her career as a teacher, she obtained her grade 2 qualification at St. Peter Teachers College, Akure, and subsequently held various teaching roles in schools across Ondo and Ekiti State. Some of the notable achievements that positively elevated the school education include improvement of the school environment, building, furniture, and fitting through robust maintenance culture, and increased participation from the parents' teacher association and philanthropic contribution, including more regulations and enhancement of existing stores, resulting in a substantial increase in internal generated revenue. She established a dedicated amount for development levy, which has a balance of 60.9 million at the end of our term. Employment of new teachers and provision of training and retraining opportunities along with regular permission and the approval of a new career structure. This initiative fosters staff motivation and led to consistent improvement in academic performance as evidenced by the paper results in the International School of Robots ICL entrance examination, National Common Entrance, NECO, and other permanent private school entrance examination. Activation of the school creative arts studio resulting in the publication of 10 books, authored by 24 papers, recognition of our exemplary leadership by the school board of governors who accorded her higher honors within the school. Furthermore, General Odessa Ajayi played a crucial role in providing available support for the first pilot project of the Society for Ecological Restoration Unilag, known as the Trade Restoration Project. Our assistance was instrumental in allowing our people to actively participate in our educational program. Furthermore, at the university, we provided space for our transplanting project was greatly appreciated and remembered with gratitude. Outside of professional life, Dr. Mrs. Ajayi is married and has adult children. Recently, she gave several welcomes to her children into her family. Let us join our hands together to welcome Dr. Juliet Adesiri Ajayi.
Ably represented by Mrs. Edith. This award will be presented by the HOD of Bethany, Dr. Adesari.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Society for Ecological Restoration, University of Lagos Student Chapter, this award of Service of Excellence is presented to Dr. Juliet Adesimi Ajayi in recognition of outstanding service and contribution to ecological restoration. Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, HOD Bethany. The next awardee is Mrs. Ayapari Ayapari Abdullah. This award is a citation of Mrs. Abdullah.
Miss Oluwatoyin, Mrs. Oluwatoyin, so sorry. Mrs. Oluwatoyin Olodolapo Abiola, born on November 25, 1963, in Ikele, London, Ogun State. Forgive me for the pronunciation, Nigeria. Is an accomplished individual with a notable career in environmental science and leadership. Our educational journey began at London Divisional High School in Shagamu, Ogun State, where she completed her work all from June 1974 to June 1979. She furthered her education at London Secondary School in Shagamu, pursuing her HSC/GC A-level from October 1979 to June 1989. Apollo Station for Biochemistry led at the University of Ibadan, Oyo State. In June 1995, she earned a BSc in Biochemistry and in October 1986, she obtained an MSc in same field. Additionally, she pursued an active study on hydrogeology from December 1993 to February 1994. Her career took shape in January when she joined the Federal Environmental Protection Agency (FPP) as a senior environmental scientist in November 1990. Over the years, she climbed the ranks, serving as a principal environmental scientist (GL12). In June 1993, assistant chief environmental scientist in June 1996, and chief environmental scientist in June 1999. In January 2006, she transitioned to the Federal Ministry of the Environment where she observed an honorable promotion. She became an assistant director in January 2026, deputy doctor in January 2013, and eventually assumed the role of federal controller environment in Lagos in April 2014. Her professional career reached new heights in January 2019 when she was promoted to the acting position of director. Currently, she serves as the general director for the Southwest region and has the position of GCTSC Lagos. Abdullah remarkable achievement and dedication has achieved her as a respected leader in the field of environmental science and administration. Can we all join our hands together and welcome the Director Abdullah.
Yes, I will welcome Mr. Maja Kwame. Let's present the award to Mrs. Abdullah. Congratulations. Now, our next awardee is our guest speaker, Mr. Desmond Majakobo. I am particularly excited that you are receiving this award. Please welcome, sir. The citation of Mr. Majakobo will be read by our citation leader.
That is a deserving applause. I will welcome the Chief of Science to present this award.
Yeah, Mr. Majakobo, a wonderful man. You are a good teacher. I listened attentively to what you said today. Now, on behalf of the Society for Ecological Restoration, University of Lagos, I present this award of honor to Mr. Desmond Majakobo, CEO, University Park, Lagos, in appreciation of your outstanding dedication, service, and contributions towards ecological restoration in Nigeria this day, 28th of November 2023. Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much again of the Faculty of Science. I want to thank government again for attending anniversary, second year anniversary. If you like to take response from the awardees, let's start from Mrs. Ajayi. Mrs. Ajayi, please. Okay, I'll move to the I wanted to body as the pause for the journey of the response to
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocol duly observed. So sorry that I came late due to one event or the other, but that's not an excuse. So sorry for that. I came in while Mr. Adekunle was presenting his speech, and I sat down there and I was like, this is actually a teacher because he brought it down to the level of children. But some of the times that we are forgetting in the past, we're just resonating and we're finding we're doing as if we are like them.
Yes.
So that's why that I also said thank you so much for that lovely presentation. This is my first time like meeting you. I know since I went to NCMS back. As a because I'm a business, definitely you will not do without going to one vegetation type here in Nigeria, the national parks, NCA, and all that. Having said that, um, the installation that we're talking about, we cannot do it without plants. And we know that the plant and animal, wherever we find plants, definitely we find animals. Whether the crawling type, whether the insect, you will find the zoological aspect of it. And that's what makes up the ecosystem. And the food chain that we're talking about. Something must eat something, something must eat something. But for his presentation, what you want me? Children, are you with me? Let me do my parents, I might be with me. Are you with me? Thank you so much. There is another aspect of this gathering is for us to know that whatever you show to the environment is what the environment will fall back at you. I work with Mrs. Adela because I also consult for Federal Ministry of Environment and EIA matters. So you can see, you see her speaking and like, so I'm doing together for years. And she just told me that she retired just Saturday. Congratulations, ma'am. We call that retirement. So the next place will be full of accolades and things. It will feel of joy, happiness, and freedom. And I pray that it says to all each and every one of us. So without having about most of all of the things that I need for this event, but I want us to take one thing, and that is what are we doing to our environment, our immediate environment. Whenever I'm taking a class, whether in vegetation type, or I always tell my students, most of us when we're walking on the streets, we just say, one through there, and just pluck the leaves. The leaf is not affecting you. You just pluck the leaves, and you start squeezing the leaf, pulling of the leaf, and I ask, if this has mouth, please think of what that leaf will tell you. What have I done wrong? And the work is due today. Another person plots what will happen to our planet. Because remember that it's this plant that takes up the carbon dioxide and gives us the oxygen. That we, without plants, I don't think we'll be what we have today. I'm also talking about conservation. Remember some of the trees have hearts on them, which will use as a form of protection. If you want to do learning by you can only rest on a tree that has sloped back. Now, we have those ones that have irons or spines. Will you rest on that? Will you rest on that? So all those things are form of the natural way. The nature is conserving surface. So let us build that attitude in preventing and also let more going back to our environment. Okay, now after eating chocolates, the biscuits, banana, do you like cake and the flour now? We change our attitude. Okay,
Because you know that all those things, when it rains, it comes back to the water body, and when it comes our water body, what happens? The light will not be able to penetrate. All the organisms inside of our shoulders, our ankle, they will not all alone because 80% of water is there. There is no food, they will all what? They will all die. So please let us be conscious of it. We are studying so many things. So many things are not done enough of our own things for now. But please, whatever we can, into the environment. It was the environment, the global atmosphere. Please let us be aware and be conscious of this. Thank you so much. And I thank Mr. Ola for the contribution to conservation as far as Nigeria is concerned. And everyone of us that seated there, whatever company of me friends, I'm happy to meet you again today. And everyone who is seated, I say, thank you. Esse lado da Yes, I want you to give us a class like you want to do it. Please, please go for it. Thank you. I understand that it has been done, so I would like to go directly to the word. Now we are looking for a response and children, the refreshment is special. So go ahead.
Dr. Joy, you can go ahead. Dr. Joy,
Yes, sir.
you can go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I appreciate you all for the honor given to me. Thank you, Dr. David, for giving us this opportunity. I appreciate the Dean and the representatives of the Vice Chancellor too. Thank you very much. God bless you.
My name is Visual Precious. I'm a student from the University of Lagos School. This is called for members to present a short drama on ecological restoration. In this drama, the characters are Alex, the environmental activist, Emma, the scientist, and the Johnson, the local government representative. Please watch attentively to gain more knowledge. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our town is at the crossroads. This was vibrant ecosystem that surrounded us is now disappearing, but we can bring it back through the power of ecological restoration. Strategies. We can recognize the environment. Take a look at this corridor. The green part represents the green cover represents our primary minister. Is this really necessary? Can't we focus on more immediate issues? Mayor Johnson, the health of our environment affect us. Ecological restoration is not only about trees and plants, but about ensuring clean air, water, and a sustainable us we understand it and make it a source of clean water. It's not just about our environment, it is about our well-being. Alright, so what do you propose? We start by organizing community to travel events, creating green spaces, and implementing policies that keep our natural resources safe. And we can have local schools to educate the next generation about the importance of environmental stewardship. Let's do it. We will form task forces to oversee these initiatives. It is time to restore our past ecological balance. It is time. It is time. It is time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I realize that it can easily convince our policymakers that it is time. On that note, I will also come back to you. And then it is time to take the mantle of leadership in ecological restoration. The response of Mrs. Ibunga. Thank you very much for the presentation. Please clap for them again.
I want to thank God for the gift of life. I want to thank the organizers of this program for the honor done me. I thank you very much. Dr. Akeredolu, we've come a long way. At a stage, every year, students of Unilag, they have turned my ministry to their second school on IT. But looking back now, I am glad that we were able to do that. Thank you, and I can assure you that even though I'm retired, our doors are still open. I'm particularly happy that we have the environmental ambassadors here, the students, the youth. I want to tender our apology because when we are talking of ecological restoration, it means the ecology has been damaged and there is need to restore it. And that is because of most of us elders who have practiced unsustainable development instead of sustainable development. We have taken our own share of the environment and even taken loan on your behalf from the nature and without knowing whether you survive or not. And so I apologize that the debt you have taken, you are the one who has to pay. But I appeal to you that you pay. Because if you do not pay, your life depends on it. Just like Mr. Adekabini told us, I totally agree that our life depends on the environment. And this way, it puts my imagination when our life depends on something and we are nonchalant about it. I want to appeal to you that you are not too small to take action, especially because your life depends on it. I usually give people one analogy. I say, even if you are the one that polluted the environment, when the air comes in, you ask the air, are you clean or are you polluted? No. Don't you the polluter and the innocent victims around you breathing the air. The same negative effect it will have on you, the polluter, it will have on the innocent victims. That is why you cannot afford to fold your hands. The time is now. When it was now, we knew when it was rainy season. We knew when it was dry season. But alas, now it is. You can't even say. And it's not only in Nigeria, because there is really no boundary in the environment. If we do something here, it affects even the universe. And if they do any negative thing, it affects us. And so that's why I am saying that beyond a decade of ecosystem restoration to combat climate change. You must take your destiny in your hands. And the first way to do that is knowledge. This knowledge, I'm sure each and every one of you has something to take on. We need to act on it. And I pray that God will help you so that you will be able to pay back the debts we have taken on your behalf. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adela. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adela. I quite appreciate your charge in ecological restoration. I also want to remind us that the theme of this conference is the role of you, the young people, young and I, in achieving the United Nations agenda on climate change and ecological restoration. I will call on Dr. Fabiola Oshala to quickly respond to the award presented by Professor Rosemary Ebana. After which I will present for Professor Class. Good afternoon. So where I come from, the greetings normally extend to the elders before we have the young ones. But today I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to say, welcome to Unilag, those who are just coming for the first time, and special greetings to the young ones. So I say good afternoon to the young ones. Children, good afternoon. I'm so glad to see your lovely faces. One of the first things that make things work is when we start from the background. And you are the background. You are the basis. That is why I'm so happy. Naturally, I'm here to represent the head of the Department of Zoology, Professor E.T. Do. So he actually sent me here, and he actually gave me a list of things to say. But because events have overtaken it, there's no need but to show appreciation first to the children who has been given the charge to take charge of the world. Because the last lady that spoke took the words out of me. I want to say, when I talk about restoration, it's repair. Means we have damaged something. And I really feel bad that we have damaged something. And it's just like we need repentance. Because we are going to give account to God for what we have done. Therefore, because there's a mighty line, we should be very careful how we use the environment. Thank God there's repentance. Thank God for all that has been of high contributors to restore this environment. I thank the guest speaker who has always been on the forefront of the environment. It's not like he receives money. He has a passion to restore the environment. And that is a big do for all of us. It means that we should take a cue from what he has done. As children, please don't be distracted, children. It's very important. It's your world. We are already living. I'm old now. I'm very old now. I'm living. It's your world. You don't allow them to spoil your world. It's yours. So, without much ado, I want to say thank you to you all for coming. And I understand the conference kicks off. And I want a situation where people will deliberate and have a good time. Network. It's not just to come here and hear allow us to take awards, it's all for us to build the environment because the environment is influenced by you and the competence of the environment influences you. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Oswala, for being as the interim company and zoology, sorry, and this is I have a special love for botany. And Professor Ogawa, thank you very much. So we now proceed for group photographs. We'll move to the right side of the hall.
your seat, please. We are bringing on the CEO of Global Environmental System Consultant Limited to give just a brief presentation. Please sit down. And our refreshment is still cooking. So please sit down.
Good afternoon. No. Good afternoon, my students. The regulators have gone. But it's okay. I'm going to give a brief presentation on corporate organizations SUG action. Yeah, again in SUG action in the area of mangrove restoration. Also, a corporate organization has a role, a response, an obligation to play in the area of climate mitigation. From YouTube. This is a commitment, a national commitment to its institutions, national institutions and agencies that Nigeria is committed into the climate action, reducing emission to its zero level, by 2060. It's a commitment set by the former president, the role of the conference, committee of party conference, specifically in 2021, held in Scotland. The commitment is to reduce emission. Nigeria is committed to reduce emission to zero level through its various institutions. How we intend to achieve that is to make sure they have policies, implementing laws, regulation, ensuring that all sorts of emission is being controlled. All sorts of emission in the country is being controlled as minimal, to the minimal, to the very level. I talk about sorts of emissions. You know that part of these emissions is coming from industry. And that simply means that industry has to be regulated with these laws. And it is become mandatory for every industry to buy into this program and make sure that they reduce emission, they use the best technology available to reduce emission, and as well as make sure that they also get alternative sort of energy that can actually help in mitigating this global issue of climate change. Because we know that the only way to fight climate change is to put in place measures to mitigate it. And one of the major issues of emission comes from the oil and gas industry. And now I'm trying to case study in this light. I'm trying to case study here. The land restoration discovered helped to cover the mangrove ecosystem. Nigeria, the Delta Delta region is a region that has experienced massive pollution over the years. And you can agree with me that one of the major sources of fossil fuel emission is from hydrocarbon or petrochemicals, petroleum products. And the chain process from extraction to the production up to the marketing of this product. It leads to a lot of the fossil fuel emission. And the only way you can checkmate it is to create authorities and to put in place laws, regulations to regulate the operation of this industrial sector. So if you are the one mandating that every oil and gas industry must make sure that they reduce their own emission and also put in place programs that can also help to remove or mitigate emission. I want to use program where an abandoned facility by an oil company and abandoned for years, and it's a common practice in Nigeria, this pipeline vandalization and poultry is a common thing in the Niger Delta. When they have to come to the abandoned facility, at the moment they just go ahead and see the crude oil pumping in the sky. You know, all in the base to pump the oil and sell locally. Now, this incident happened in 2018. Where the was that, and there was a massive spill. Unfortunately, that spill led to fire. Lots of lives, there was lots of lives in the process, and a whole lot of mangroves were lost. Over 50 hectares of mangroves were destroyed. The fire was not able to be controlled. The fire for more than 60 days. But for you to imagine, the fire to be on for 60 days. Without the agencies trying to control for 60 days, the fire kept on for 60 good days. So over the papers. Next slide. The location, this facility was owned by NAPC stroke Chevron JV. But it's an abandoned facility. So they are determined that government is responsible because that facility is not, they have abandoned it, or not operating it. But people went there and do whatever, and there was fire. So why should we put the blame on us? Why should we take responsibility for that? So that's like the impact was so massive. You can see that was the satellite image before the incident. I can see the other one is the satellite image after the incident. You can see the massive the landmass that was damaged by the fire. What the people are saying, what the government is saying is that, and the new government that this facility belongs to you. You are no longer using it. But you see, you should take responsibility of this. So what have to do is not only clean it up, but you have to return those lands back and let the ecosystem be restored the way it was before the fire. Because of it is mandatory that every industry within the country must put the SDG goals. And one of those SDG goals is climate action. It's not just national, it's international. Because this is a mandatory obligation. So they don't have any choice than to do it. But they have to restore this mountain ecosystem to the way it was before the fire. Can see how master looks like. Next slide. So this is just showing you the entire diagram of the area, how the extent of damage that was done. So this aspect is what we look at in terms of career. You have been a member of the Mangrove Restoration Society of Mangrove Restoration, and also a student. The career that people should start working towards to try to save the planet. Now, let's go to restore this environment to the way it was before. It is I and you. We are to restore this environment back to the way it was before. Not just the corporate organization, not just the government agency, but it's true. We have a role to play in restoring this environment. So what happens is that we have to come together and say, okay, let's see what we can do to restore this ecosystem that was damaged to the way it was before. And there are processes in which you take it to restore the environment, to restore it back to the way it was before. After the damage is done, if there is any residual thing that have been cleared, the spill. Because when there's a fire, you turn off the carbon, the carbon, you turn it off to CO2, it goes to that instead. You know what combustion does? Combustion burns off, it is good air, it burns off, taking out the carbon chain into the normal chain, into fuel, carbon. Everything supports that atmosphere. And that's how combustion it might leave behind some residues. Which are some containers of the carbon, the chemistry, or something. Now, those residues are no longer harmless because they are not actually heavy at the carbon chain. Yet they are heavy at the carbon containers, but the light ones. The only ones that are the damage, those are the light ones. But if that yellow panel, it does not actually lift down into the soil direct. I want us to be carried out to show the depth of the oil. All the oil has been turned off. All the analysis was carried out, and today we can now start talking about restoring, revegetating the environment. So all these have been done. So the stage is now to replant the mangroves, the trees that has been destroyed. The first stage here is to measure the area to see the area that needs to be revegetated. That was the first stage. The one we are doing that inside the delineation. The second stage after this, next time, the second stage after the area that has been impacted.
What's that name again?
Next slide. Is to set clear because this thing that is happening long time ago, the time was painting out another thing. This is the committee, they are involved in that work. You see, we have to replant. But several grass that are growing over time, so you just have to clear so that we can have a clearing field to plant. Because this grass could be disturbance if you don't clear them off. After cycling, the next phase is before cycling. Now this process also involves engaging the community because this stage you need to empower the community, empower the women especially because the men and women will be involved in training and people to involve in work. Your job is to supervise and make sure the work is properly done. And you have to train them on how to do the work. Training is the first stage. You have to train them how to nurse the purposes because we talk about trees and seedlings. This stands for seedlings. The seedlings are very what you plant. The baby form of the tree itself is called the seedling. We call it propagule. You just have to teach them how to nurse the propagule into a stage where it can be transplanted from the field because the plant of the field it cannot survive the harsh weather. So you have to nurse it first in your compound. When you do the plant, you have to nurse these seedlings in their various compounds. And nurse it for 2 months, 8 weeks. After 8 weeks, when the propagules is growing and it's having some seeds and the 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, show that it has grown, it cannot be transplanted. Remember planting the propagules, it will be stated and you get paid for it. You get paid for propagules. So it's because the business for the women, they need your basic income for them to start growing mangoes because they know that when they go for a stage where it can be planted, definitely they'll be paid per propagle. We buy the product for them. Next slide. This slide is the natural propagles that have been grown by the women collectively. This is the farm that they grow their propagles, community by community. So this one communities where the propagles are being grown by different community. However, communities are also a collective farm where they come and grow their propagles. What we do, we are the consultants. Our way is to work with the government and the federal ministry of environment, ministry that are collected and paid for that are going to be planted. And next slide. This place is the determination, market areas that need to be planted after the site clearing. Not all the land that need to be planted portions by portions and make sure that once you are planting, you plant the straight, everything is fine, horizontal and vertical. And all these things are activities that will be done during the inclination stage. Now, the next slide. Now here, the women has to carry those properties to site. After you have gotten settled them, because the data is very value setting them. Settle them, the carry the properties to site. You can see the properties are being transferred from the various farms to site. So now the going to be planted. Now, women and the young youths of the community will be recruited to do the planting. And do the planting. Now, the women are being empowered, the men are also being empowered. This empowerment is to not only help them to restore the environment, but remember that after they had 60 days after they had, most of them suffer from respiratory issues. So they couldn't go to their daily activities. So most of them are fishermen, they do fishing for living. Not politicians are doing by fire. And they suffer a whole lot of losses individually. This material where you have to go and save them. By letting them do the planting themselves, do the sowing themselves, and pay them for every single labor. Are you getting me? Now this is the planting process where the mangoes are being planted. The next slide. Now after 6 months of planting, planting purpose is to assess the growth and make sure the mangroves are doing well every 6 months. You can see this was the first set of mangrove monitoring. After 6 months, this year, the mangroves are already smiling. Now the other problem is that you can tell the carbon, like the issue of the carbon is still left. It has not been properly implemented. The mangrove has a way of picking them up to their roots. And in the process, one is getting the rest of the residual, whatever residual is left. That's one thing about the mangroves. They don't only help to enrich flood, enrich the other communities solution to flood after this system because the mangrove before has been protecting the ecosystem, protecting the neighboring communities. But after this system, those communities, some of them were wiped out, some of them relocate because there was water expiring its boundary and entering the homes, destroying homes. That's the need why getting them has to be restored, the mangrove to be restored. And remember that this mangrove has roots, a rooting system that serves as shelter to a whole lot of animals that will help as source of food for the communities. From this fish, some fish come to the roots to take shelter. From each of these, some plants take shelter, have their roots at the root. Now remember this, killing the whole lot of fishes, the whole lot of their plants, a lot of them were destroyed, a lot of them were killed. Some communities that lives their livelihood on fishing suffered. They report that this livelihood is restored back. And so this mangrove is restored. So what this presentation is going to tell you is I was a student of the University of Lagos. I did my first degree, second degree, completing my third degree here. And I didn't just get into the industry that way. It was through what I did, career, develop my career over the years. Get to know what is an opportunity, what opportunity can I do and explore here. Either I work in industry or I consult for industry, 2 options. So you pick what you want. You consult the industry or you work for the industry. You consult the industry, you don't do the right thing through penalties. Community will not allow you rest. Community will not turn down your facility if you don't treat them well. So they know the consequences of this. If they don't do it, community alone will turn down your facility. You know the laws that you go if you don't do the right thing. Those days where government partner with industrial owners and to suppress the community as these days are gone. These days, the community power belongs to the community because there's a law that gives the community power to protect their resources. So you can't come as a personal person and big industry and start using your own profit to disturb another community. It's no longer that. Everyone has the right now. The food industry and to make sure they settle the loss. So for those who are buying this issue, they just have to do the right thing by taking someone that's accredited by the government agency, NOSRA, Ministry of Environment, State of Environment, get them as consultants to help solicit and do the guidance on what they can do to avoid these issues. That we don't have to suffer asset loss. So that is where you come in as a career. If you don't work in the industry, you can work as an independent consultant. Now, apart from that, there's still other career paths that you can also work as an NGO, non-governmental organization, not the other way around, where you have to make a whole lot of profit from companies, but now you can, instead of make profit, but work as an NGO, as an activist, environmental activist, as well as you are registered with the government. The government and always go there, they fight for the community and say the truth. They have the source of their money. I mean, if I say non-profit doesn't mean that you don't make profit. And you make a whole lot of money than those are making profit. There are a lot of organizations like that. And these are guys are set up by you. Students like you that finished and don't get exactly what they want to do. You have a whole lot of funding, a whole lot of grants. Focus on Africa because Africa is the focus globally. Mitigating climate change, the answer to the solution is Africa. You know why? You know why I feel like the focus? I will tell you. Now, the carbon we're talking about, that is causing issue, climate change issue globally, is caused by the developed countries. They caused it. Over the years, they have started industrialization and they have been putting this carbon in there gradually. And over the years, carbon has accumulated over the years. For an estate that is about causing a kind of disaster. Think about developed countries. We are developed and we just start our own industrialization. We don't start industrialization. We just start putting our carbon into the atmosphere. We just allow to start. You know what I'm saying? But they are saying, this, we have made a lesson. We have put enough out there. If you start at your own now, the life is going to avoid. Our assets, all what we have done for years, will be destroyed. By flood, by different disaster. We don't want it. We have created enough. Please, we are telling you, we're not doing well. I want to do well with it because we are worthy. We have done this, and that's how we create our world. You want to start your own, so I can create a world like us. That's the way. But we want to support you. We make sure that you do your own sustainably. So you just have to do it differently. And it comes to our earth, where the world says, developmental goals come in. A lot of workers are trying. A lot of programs, a lot of promises, millions of dollars are to put into this project in making sure that no countries, because they are the ones that have suffered because of what they have done. What they have done has brought about poverty in all the global countries. You can see what poverty and because when you have a disaster like flood, cannot give any bodies. People are trying to survive, but are not trying to survive. You see flood come and destroy everything on your life. They have to start one week again. company try to take away that one square meal from you. You know what that means? By what you think cost, it was caused by a group of countries that are far away from you. Their action is what you are suffering. So they understand that. So they want to make sure that we start to go into renewable energy, other form of energy that does not emanate fossil generation, as well as try at least not to cut out any trees. But how can you build projects, major projects, without cutting down trees? If you have a huge land and you want to set up a industry, don't you destroy the trees? Don't you destroy the trees? Of course you do it, and you have the right, but there's no way you be operating with crude oil that will not be spilled, and that will not be fire, that will not be some disaster, that will damage other trees that you, this is very happen. But what I'm saying is that please stop fossil fuel, no fossil fuel again. Let's stop fossil fuel totally. That's what I say. Yeah, they just say fossil fuel that I understand. It was a fossil fuel that moved forward alone. And you know the people can say fossil fuel. But the law that they have to do what they done to put local level. Yeah, the predictions, the very predictions will come to pass. Once I are predicting about climate change will come to pass. And that will be the end of their faith, end of their labor. Don't know that. All that consider everything that the people have said, that will be the end to it. So we need to change to have a solution to take away the problem reduce it. With removing carbon, that's mitigating carbon from that waste. We have technologies. We have other technologies. We want to buy these technologies and use it in your country. Why are we in our country? It's expensive. It's expensive. They are not the things that you and I can afford. I'm talking about the global countries now.
I've already sent a message.
But they are having the law by pushing a lot of funding right to help you develop. That technology is solar cars, engines, solar engines, hybrid engines, as long as it does not use fossil fuel. No petrol, no diesel. Also, it's no longer allowed. Powered by fossil fuel. But you know, that's why you can do without petrol and diesel. You understand what I'm saying? That is what does our economy. Yes, no more cutting of trees. Because that is another instrument that we can remove carbon from the atmosphere. Africa has one of the largest forests in the world. Yes, that's their problem. That is the aim of the United Nations Climate Change Conference. All countries, most of the countries, African countries were present to discuss this issue. So they are part of all the other countries. The lady that I mentioned about the vote was said all about the developed countries, all them committees of parties. That committees of parties that are developed for the countries of developed countries will share the funding, not to be shared among developed countries. The funding will go into help them to mitigate climate change, but the main focus will be developing countries because they're the main focus. They're the ones that are bringing more disaster if these things are not controlled. So you have an opportunity there. We can grab the opportunity now. As part of that NGO, that's where NGO comes in. It is a whole lot of activists, environmental activists, that can join the group, the member, get the right teaching, the right training, so they can assess those funding. You can assess those funding. You can't say, you can assess those funding and help to campaign, stop campaign, to be educational campaign, awareness, get awareness of the importance of helping to mitigate climate change. You can go into technology. Funding on in engineering, automobiles, you can start talking more about renewable energies in cars, hybrid engines. Most of the products, you can produce the product, you can do production, they found the process, they found the project of producing what we are doing now. But we can put a project that can bring it that can place any as we do with climate change emission. Where we find it. That's under technology. Education. Human rights. And other areas that you have the opportunity to play into. There are a lot of fundings you can access as long as you play your part. So I have to stop here. So shortly, if you have any question, you can ask. My guys need to stop. Any question before I go.
Question? Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
First of all, from the tree planting, do you have specific tree types that you plant? Or just not all trees will grow in the
Yes, it's not okay that grows in mangrove. Nigerian mangrove, especially in the data, has a dominant species called Rhizophylla mango. That was Rhizomosa. The one that is popular is mango. That species is one species. We call it red mango. That's commonly red mango. The red mango is one species that is very adaptive. It can adapt to hard weather conditions. Once you nurse it at the right under the right condition, you can grow under any that area. The soil around another data is very good for this very species. What you do is go to your compound, get the soil from the lower street, just pick it at the backyard, there, to get that black soil there, and put it as just put it. Once you keep watering it, you see it grow. When it grows, it has grown. All you do is you transplant it after 8 weeks. Transplant that tree after 8 weeks. So it can keep growing because of which you're not going to stay for long because you are not some. You just have to take it back and plant it there after 8 weeks. So it can have enough fruit, a stronger rooting system to grow well and grow to a young tree or grow to a mature tree. And what about this mango is that it sinks carbon massively. It's a very good carbon sinker. That's why it's recognized across the world as a very good carbon sinker. So each of these mangroves, one mangrove, the value of one mangrove, just one single tree mangrove costs, like the cost. To plant one single mangrove, nurture it from the start to when it is matured, when it costs $8,000. One. And the cost is based on tons of carbon that is going to sink within that year period. And that is the second round of mitigation we're talking about. If you can plant one mangrove here, once you go to maturity, you can keep saving carbon. The ton of carbon is being priced across the world. The ton of carbon, like they say, has a price placed on it, and that's the price that we're talking about. The tree has a price placed on it in dollars. The tree, right? To plant a tree, just a tree is $12. Not one single tree is $12. But the cost of nursery to maturity, $10,000. Imagine we have how many hectares here? 10,000 hectares. 10,000 hectares. A square kilometer is a tree. A square kilometer is a tree because the space of the tree is a square kilometer. That means you need 10,000 trees. 10,000 trees for 10 hectares. That's 10,000 square kilometers. You can do the math. So that is the opportunity in mangrove restoration. You can do the math. That's the opportunity in mangrove. Any other question?
Let us give him a round of applause for his presentation. Yes, the CEO of Urban Environmental System Consultants Limited has given us his presentation. He has described their activities with specific projects in the Niger Delta region. He gave example of a fire incident that lasted for 60 days and how the company came in and restored the damaged ecological system. He also went further to give us the goodies and the vast array of opportunities in ecological restoration. And he mentioned the availability of funding for us to tap in. Thank you very much, and CEO of Urban Environmental System Consultants. Please give him another round of applause. We are expecting another presenter who is online to be projected. He is Professor Noah Chong, right?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You can have the floor, sir.
He's online. He's online. He's online. No,
I'm online. Are you getting me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Noachungo, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, you have my slides.
Yes.
You can share it.
Oh, you have it? Yes, I have the slide. Yes, I have your slide, sir.
Okay, we can go together. Then I can start.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this platform and space. Very important. Youth engagement in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration in the Anthropocene. This is a case of forest landscape restoration in Africa. This is my presentation. So my presentation will be around, I think I'll give the background to it and how we collected the data, and of course share what we found and conclude with some few recommendations. So introducing my presentation, I would like to share that we have a growing need to engage youth in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration in order to address the rising environmental degradation issues in Africa. We have realized that humanity has waged a war, a fierce war in that matter, on nature, and this has proved to be suicidal. Suicidal in the sense that it is affecting the human well-being and economic losses and accelerated erosion of life on Earth. However, it is also believed that young people are considered to be not only victims of the current environmental and climate crisis, they are also regarded as powerful actors and agents of transformation. So what is the problem at stake? The problem at stake is, I think, there is a limited understanding of the role, legitimacy, and the potential of youth engagement in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration discourses and practices in Africa in the modern epoch. We have also limited youth research that has addressed the ways programs meet the goals of rigorous conservation and ecological science education in the same one processing, which is the modern age we are in. So the objective of this presentation is just to highlight how we can explore on the in-depth understanding of the engagement of African youth in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration in the Anthropocene, with a narrow focus on forest landscape restoration. Basically, and specifically, we want to understand why do we engage the youth and what are the barriers they encounter, and also to learn how we can address these barriers and unlock the potential of this youth. We collected this data using in-depth systematic quantitative literature review, using methods outlined by Pickering and Pine. Around 100 research and professional papers were explored, just focusing on terms like biodiversity conservation, ecological restoration, youth engagement, forest landscape restoration, and SDGs, using the Google Scholar and Science Direct database search engines. We analyze this data through a qualitative thematic analysis approach by Brown and Clark, where we finalize ourselves with the data, we generated the codes, and we searched the common themes, and so also define the themes to write about. I think to this background, I would first now give you the sense of African increasing youth population in Africa. Currently, Africa stands at 1.4 billion, and Africa has increased from 1 billion, and we expect by 2050 to be around 2.5 billion. By the same time, we expect half of African population to be under 25 years old. To be specifically, and we just like an example, Nigeria itself by 2050 is forecast to have 400 million people, meaning it will overtake the United States of America as the world's third most populous country. This is according to the Economist 2020 publication. I would love to dwell now into the aspect of the Anthropocene, the era we are today. Welcome to the Anthropocene. This is the new geological epoch where man or humanity is now driving the seat, the all economic activities. We are saying that humanity is waging war on nature, and this has proved to be suicidal and culminating into apocalyptic consequences in degradation of human well-being, economic losses, and accelerated erosion of life on Earth. We have reached an unprecedented moment in planetary history. This implies that young people are considered to be not only victims of the current environmental and climate crisis, but they are also regarded as powerful actors and agents of transformation that can contribute to achieving a more sustainable planet. We are now experiencing a period, I think from 1950 going forward. This is a period which is associated to the Anthropocene. We call it the Great Acceleration. This is a period associated with very rapid growth in human population, resource consumption, energy use, and pollution. We believe that this period is associated with very rapid growth in human population and, of course, with increased economic activities. You realize that since 1950, you can see that major Earth system changes have become directly linked to change largely related to the global economic system. This presentation will dwell around the terms like ecological restoration, forest landscape restoration, biodiversity, and youth engagement. By youth engagement, I would say this is active empowerment and intentional partnership with youth as stakeholders, problem solvers, and change agents in their communities. And now, next, I would share with you the Africa Biodiversity Outlook. And the key messages around this outlook is that overall, biodiversity in Africa has continued to decline with ongoing losses of species and habitats. We have also experienced ongoing loss of biodiversity in Africa, which is driven by a combination of human-induced factors. It is also experienced that Africa's freshwater ecosystems and their biodiversity are especially threatened. And Africa has continued to experience deforestation and forest degradation. The negative impacts of climate change on species and ecosystems are exacerbating the effects of all these pressures. Following on the economic biodiversity outlook, however, I want to share with you that there are important responses Africa has taken since 2011. We have seen collaboration among African countries to address particular Aichi biodiversity targets. These are budgets which have been outlined in the Strategic Plan for Biodiversity 2011 to 2020 by the United Nations Environment Program, the UN program. We have seen a growing portfolio of international support for Africa countries to achieve the Aichi targets. And we have also seen that African countries are using ecosystem service evaluation and investment in REID Plus to achieve these targets. And many African countries have already achieved their 17% terrestrial protected area targets, and many others are working towards this target on land, as well as on the 10% marine protected areas target on the sea. Moreover, Africa is making increasing use of ecosystem-based conservation and restoration of natural resources. So the question now is, why do we engage youth in all this drama? We are engaging youth because they have a legitimacy, they have a role. In fact, we are saying that global mandates on sustainable development endorse activities that promote sustainable land management, health ecosystems. The same mandates has recognized the right of young people to engage actively in restoring, rehabilitating, and recovering forests and ecosystems. And also, when you look at the diversity of young people, we realize that youth are a diverse group of people whose ability to be agents of change in restoration are dependent on their geographical, biophysical, and socio-economic setting, among other factors. And it is also believed that young people in land and ecosystem restoration, they are translational and they are in a crucial phase in human development where these individuals, the youth, become independent and responsible for their own needs and wants. So engaging young people in land and ecosystem restoration, inclusion, and participation is critical because young people to be agents of change in land and ecosystem restoration, their participation has to be meaningful and have an aggregate effect. Now, when you relate now the youth and the sustainable development goals, you realize that the youth are related to all the 17 goals. But here I want to share you to just give you a snapshot of a few goals, like goal 4, which recognizes the importance of the role of young people to play in achieving the health, land, and ecosystem. And goal 13, which talks about supporting youth-led initiative to help empower young people to take action in their local communities to combat climate change. While goal 15 is talking about that youth are active agents in tackling deforestation and desertification. To preserve biodiversity, young people must be engaged in policies and programs at the local, national, and the global level or scales. While goal 7 is talking about building the renewable energy skills and capacity of youth can help to accelerate action in clean energy. And you realize that these sustainable development goals, they are reflecting the laws of the youth. They are reflecting the laws of the youth in the sense that it is implied that youth are critical thinkers, they are change makers, they are innovators, they are communicators, and overall, they are future leaders. And now, when we come to the barriers of youth engagement, you realize that the lack of economic resources or incentives of environmental interest or of institutional support are the main barriers that impede them in, for instance, participating in deforestation, which is one of the most common practices for ecosystem restoration. But to be specifically, there is inadequate environmental literacy in Africa, and we have inadequacy in the contextual capacity building, coupled with insufficient incomes, land tenure, gender constraints, and financial inclusion. But to make the matters worse, you realize that we have weak links between policy and implementation. So how do we unlock this potential of the youth in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration? We can unlock this potential by supporting youth-led community development and also having competitive grant schemes to support the capacity of youth-led non-governmental organizations that are involved in conservation and restoration activities. We need also to create an enabling environment and build the confidence, the trust between the youth, the local authority, and the legal agencies. And of course, supporting youth initiatives that are being around between and among private sector and other key stakeholders working in the field. At national level, there is need for capacity to be built for youth-led NGOs and coalition building. We can also unlock the potential of the youth by the government giving a space for competitive grant schemes to this youth, especially students and youth organizations. We also need to see student consultative bodies at secondary and tertiary education levels, and also to hear the voice of youth in national policy and reforms, for example, through national youth councils. We also to see interactive online tools, demonstration, because we are in a digital world. So I think it is encouraging to have online tools that can demonstrate great potential for educating the youth about landscape conservation, activism, and instilling a desire for involvement. So in conclusion, I would say, despite all these challenges, youth engagement in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration can be challenged, and youth potential can be nurtured through inclusive, place-based, and collaborative environmental education strategies to foster youth environmental stewardship in Africa. We engaging the youth generation in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration in the Anthropocene, the modern era we are, demands a new and more authentic education, demands for participatory governance, demands also a change towards a more holistic, transformative, sustainability-oriented, multi-stakeholder approach. The field of ecological restoration is evolving quickly to address challenging needs. So we need to face the pressing challenges such as climate change, sustained engagement of new and young generation of practitioners and researchers, because it is critical for the resilience of complex ecological systems worldwide, not only in Africa. Looking at the bigger picture and a few recommendations, I'm sharing that supporting youth-led initiatives for biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration is required. We need to consider youth as key stakeholders of sustainable development goals and the Aichi biodiversity targets achievement. We are talking about the post-Aichi targets progress. We need to streamline the youth engagement in international and intergenerational cooperation and decision making. We need, most of all, to invest more in youth research and to investigate young people's lives and prospects within a complex and dynamic biosocial context, and to foster their empowerment and engagement for a sustainable, just future. Implementing conservation actions on a greater scale to avoid further biodiversity loss in Africa is cardinal. We need to increase awareness of the contribution of biodiversity to young people's lives and create positive incentives for sustainable ecosystem restorations and mobilize resources from private and global funds. Most importantly, we need to take the take-homes from this conference, implement the outcomes of this conference, which of course requires resource mobilization and capacity building of African society. With these few words, I would like to thank you all and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your very insightful presentation. The professor has given us his talk on livestock restoration in Africa by emphasizing the role of youth engagement in environmental restoration. He described the problem at stake with regards to youth engagement in biodiversity conservation and ecological restoration. He also listed the barriers mitigating against youth engagement using certain criteria. He delves into the problem of increasing population and is stated that African youth is going the growth, the increase in population of African youth is approximately 1.4 billion and is still on the increase. He also stated that the population of Africa generally is growing between 1.5 to 1.7 billion by 2030, and it is continuing on that increase, and it will reach approximately 2.5 billion by 2050. He emphasized that Nigeria's population also will grow to about 400 million, overtaking the United States as the world's third largest population. He also showed the perspective of Africa's biodiversity outlook as it is seriously depleted. However, the contribution of Africa and the actions of African countries are on the right track. They mentioned that some African countries have made 17% target, which is the required target for biodiversity and ecological restoration. It further stated that the reason to engage youth and because of the diversity of youth, the contribution that youth have in ecological restoration as filmmakers, resourceful people and goal-oriented. To build the potential of youth engagement at both local and international level. Moreover, concluded that youth potential can be measured through inclusive, place-based and collaborative environmental education strategies to foster environmental stewardship and invest in youth-oriented research. Thank you very much, Professor Naratungu. We appreciate it. We're happy to take questions. You can send your questions forward, or if you have questions in 2 or 3 minutes, Professor Tungu will take. Questions? No questions. Thank you. We will charge the next speaker, Professor Kingsley Dixon.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. Can we start the video, please?
Yeah, you can share your slide.
Okay. Sorry, I just have one technical issue. Bear with me for one moment. I just have
No problem, sir.
All right, here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, fabulous. Look, thank you all very much. It's great to be presenting as the chair of the Society for Ecological Restoration. And thank you to Excellence for organising this along with the fabulous organising committee. What we just heard about the role of youth is so critical as we face probably one of the most daunting periods for the biodiversity and the environments of the planet. The image that you see here is from work that we've been doing in Saudi Arabia. It's actually a natural desert, and it's a desert that's a result of natural climatic processes of the planet. But we are desertifying the planet on at a large rate. If you look at this image, this is just from last week's issue of Nature, that what we see is the Aral Sea. This is between 2000 on the left. This is the fourth largest lake on Earth and almost completely dried up between the 2000 and 18 years later due to water drawdown that was occurring for irrigated pastures and irrigated production. What happened as a result of this is the pollutants and other materials from those lakes created vast grasslands in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, who share the border with the Aral Sea, and up to 100 million hectares of healthy and productive land, not only here but globally, are lost as a result of desertification. Here we see an example of what desertification actually means, and we are in essentially an extraordinary environmental catastrophe. Now, ecological restoration is my space. I've spent almost 4.5 decades as a restoration ecologist repairing broken and damaged landscapes here in Australia. You might think we're a sophisticated, educated, wealthy country, so no wonder, but we continue to destroy landscapes at a far greater rate than we can restore. But what we forget in the destruction both here and globally is that the total value of ecosystem services that we all get, the clean water, the clean air, the food, the fiber, the medicine, the pollinators that we need for around half of the plants we consume in our daily diet, is estimated to be worth about $145 trillion. So we lose the services of the planet at our own peril. Now, in terms of the Sustainable Development Goals, which we just heard about, you can see that there are also other ways in which developing a culture of restoration touches so many different areas. Human health, creating a living planet where we have protected and vital biodiversity, climate mitigation by reinstating the climate moderating forces of forests and biodiverse ecosystems, through to productivity, that is increasing the productivity of green businesses and ecologically based economies. And the plan with the UN decade is that by 2030, that we have embedded in the economic model a restorative culture, a culture that doesn't just believe in gross domestic product, but believes in the well-being that comes from having healthy and vibrant ecological communities. Now, it's a story that goes back a long way. People have been attempting to restore planets and planetary resources for a long time. But it was one of the fathers of ecological restoration, Aldo Leopold, who said to a colleague, Ted Sperry, in 1936, exactly where this picture was taken at the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Arboretum. He said, let's go out and plant a prairie. Because what America had done by 1936 is they'd removed much of the rich biodiversity of the prairies in favour of rapidly growing fodder species. They'd also eliminated the great grazing herds of bison and eliminated many of the animals that were fundamentally going to be important for pollination and for maintaining ecosystem services. So Aldo Leopold, and this is an image of him in that area. This is them doing the very first experimental burning of that prairie area at Madison back in 1936. And they're using wet cloth or sack to try and put out those embers. They realised in this ecosystem that the deployment of strategic fire was important in restoration. And there to today, prairie restoration is now big business in the US. People aim to have high quality prairie restoration alongside production systems. Now, Australia was also in that journey at exactly the same time, 1936. This man, Albert Morris, found that in a place on the east coast of Australia, and you can see the image 1936, what happened on the left-hand side versus the right-hand side when there was overgrazing, that you lost the important topsoil, that we had poor air quality in the nearby town of Broken Hill, and importantly, a major company, the Zinc Corporation, which is now Rio Tinto, that their mines were despoiling the environment. And so Albert Morris set up the Barrier Field Naturalist Club and began the process without having the name of ecological restoration. This was desertification in Broken Hill by the early 20th century, but now much of that area is fully restored. Now, in the journey towards a restorative culture, the Society for Ecological Restoration SISC, I think, as one of the peak groups that matters to all of you in this room and listening online today. We were founded in 1988. Now, you might say we're a very young society. Well, we're actually only 3 years older than when the term ecological restoration was coined in 1985. That's how young planetary repair and the process of the science underpinning good practice happen. And you can read there that the mission of SER is about not only healthy environments, it's also about developing the policy and practices that give biodiversity a chance within a climate changing environment, but also that people and nature develop healthy relationships. Now, the society has grown a lot in the last 3 years. In 2019, when the COVID pandemic commenced in November that year, by 2020, SER, we predicted that we would lose much of our membership. Countries were in lockdown, people were struggling for existence. We couldn't see that ecological restoration would happen. It was the exact reverse. What we discovered was that people began to understand the delicate balance of nature and people. And over that period, we rose our membership from just over 3,000 to over 5,000 individual members in 120 countries, which we have today, and it keeps growing. And they're people, not scientists and researchers anymore, but people who do restoration. They're Indigenous people, and importantly, emerging professionals, the people that are sitting in this room. And importantly, we're also engaging across the social dynamic and the arts interface to link the way that we communicate. Now, over a quarter of our membership identifies as students or emerging professionals. That's 1,246 members. And I hope in this room, many of you are members or thinking of members. And if you want to know more or want to know ways in which we can help you become a member without breaking the bank, then please see Exxon, one of our esteemed board members. An important part, and I've highlighted here that Nigeria sits proud, we have 30 global student associations. 26 in North America, that's the home of our organization. We have 4 outside of North America, Central America, Caribbean, Europe, and Nigeria. So well done to all of you here in Nigeria today for being part of a global push. A critical part of the way that we operate is building capacity, and that comes through many of our chapters. And here you see coloured our chapter regions of the planet. I'm down in the orange bit, Australasia. There's altogether 11 countries, and I'm very pleased in 2016 or 2010 to begin the creation of the Society for Ecological Restoration Australasia. We have 12 regional chapters in North America, 4 continental chapters, with Africa sitting as our most recent, and certainly one of our most treasured, because we see we have a great task ahead of us in Africa, but working with our partners, our African chapter, we can make the changes and begin active ecological restoration. Now, a critical part of the way we operate is we develop what we call thematic sections. We have 2. One devoted to how do you do large-scale ecological restoration. These are looking at the hundreds of thousands of hectares. The second is actually our biggest, has over 800 members. It's the International Network Seed-Based Restoration. This is a group which is free to join once you become an SCR member. And I encourage any of you who are looking at innovation through seed supply network and better ways to restore through seed to think about becoming an affiliate of that network. It's a great group with an extraordinary and dynamic leadership. We also have one member networking group, and that's South SER, and that's a growing area, particularly because they're attempting to build in a strong presence in China with a population well over 1 million. Now, what's important to you here, and you'll be able to read this with the online version, we can support you in this room in lots of interesting ways. We operate fellowships and travel grants, and at present we have a number of early career restoration fellows operating in programs where you get the opportunity through paid internships to contribute to our actual programs. And our programs in SER are growing almost monthly. We're linking broad ways now with the UN Decade of Restoration, with the UN Convention on Combating Desertification, through various aspects of the Food and Agricultural Organization, developing what we call standards-based restoration. Some of our current restoration fellows are working in this aspect. The second important one, as we saw at the World Conference, it was just in Darwin in September, where I met some of you here today, we run what we call open doors travel grants. That means money should not be an obstacle to being able to join the organisation and come to our meetings. Now, in terms of many of you that are students, we also offer student awards programs. These provide all sorts of awards at our World Conferences. And importantly, in restoration ecology, we've launched a special feature exactly for the in this room, young voices and visions for the UN Decade. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear from Africa. We want to hear from Nigeria about your voice, what you see, what's needed, and the experiences and the success stories. We want the world to hear what you're doing. Now, importantly, we have within our organisation, sorry, my apologies. We have student and emerging professionals committees, called SEPs, and these directly address the interests of students and early career professionals. So have a look at those. It's on our website, ser.org, and learn more about those today. We've also got an SEP World Conference Committee, which is looking at organising active. Now, core programs that we operate, which many of these do operate in science, which of course is our public arm. Initially, when we were set up, we were mostly a scientific group, academics. But I'm pleased to say academics are valued, but certainly not the majority part of the organisation. We partner with major publishers, including Island Press, to deliver ecological restoration book series, And I encourage all of you here about creating your own best practice manuals. Talk to us about getting those published, either as special issues of Restoration Ecology or through the Ecological Restoration book series. Importantly, and I'll show you this in a moment, the principles of practice. How do you get better practice? Certified Ecological Restoration programs. This is our biggest and fastest program, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment, exciting opportunities to think about. In terms of practice, we have all sorts of webinars, workshops, and trainings. Go to our website, and you'll also see on the website where we have our international principles and standards for practice of ecological restoration and the recently published restoration practice for mine site closure. Importantly, we're now in the process with the Society for Ecological Restoration in Europe through WWF in Spain, testing and piloting restoration project certification. Too often, people think they are doing restoration when in fact it's a revegetation project and not providing the maximum benefits for biodiversity and communities. So project certification will become an important part within the UN decade, a stable of opportunities. Our third area is influencing policy. We now have an international policy lead, George Gann, who travels the world developing policy capabilities through the UN, and that we then use that to influence countries. And it would be good to see examples within the Nigerian policy framework where we can help develop more effective restoration and nature positive policies into the future. Now, the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, you can read this on the screen, is very clear. How do we create 350 million hectares of restored landscape by 2030? The barriers to achieving that vision, there are really down the bottom. There's three that matter to this group today. Public awareness. We need to share and articulate through your ability to teach and write around what we need to do and the speed at which we need to do. Secondly, technical capacity. This is the science and practice and adaptive management learnings that you have that we need to share more broadly. And thirdly, scientific research, that publishing and getting, as we call it in Australia, right way science for best practice restoration is critical. Now, key SER activities for the UN Decade are multifaceted, so you can read them there. We create lots of opportunities, but importantly, we participate in UN Decade task forces. That's the science, best practice, and the monitoring task force. These are the three task forces that are creating some of the basic tools by which we will be able to not only create restoration, but be able to monitor it, and then we can create the best practice guidelines into the future. We've also got what we call the Global Restoration Observatory. This is spearheaded by SER in combination with our partner, Climate Focus, and it's about developing monitoring capabilities through the monitoring task force. And as you can see there, it's around how can we get alignment of global databases and a broader integration of data collection. Many sites in Nigeria, for example, where restoration is happening, we need those data to feed into that global project. Only then will we know whether we're really reaching the ATAR targets, the bond challenge, and the other international agreements that we're all partner to. Now, our information sharing framework that we have is that we have through the Global Restoration Observatory Council. You can see the number of indicators, the number of project descriptions, and the number of individuals and organizations across 27 countries that are partnering. That was released last year, and that information sharing network is for those people that are really interested in monitoring and going. And finally, This is a call to all of you in the room. Now, although I've been a practicing restoration ecologist for 4.5 decades, this year I passed my examination to become a certified ecological restoration practitioner, which was a little late, but better late than never. And as the chair of the society, it's important that we support this mission. Now, all of you in this room can become certified ecological restoration practitioners. There's an online course. There's a fee that has to be paid, which can be moderated in terms of various countries. This is a discussion you hold with the organising secretariat. But we encourage students and emerging professionals to join what we call our CERPIT program. That's Certified Ecological Restoration Practitioners in Training. And what this does, it's not about the whether you've got a PhD, a master's, an honours degree, or how much restoration science you've done that matters, but it can also be how much field experience and practical restoration knowledge you've accumulated. And so we can provide the credentials that give you a CERPIT and then guide you towards the full CERPIT affiliation. This means you can use this title in your curriculum vitae, in jobs, and you can also use to demonstrate to people that you know what right way restoration looks like and how to do the best restoration. And I'll conclude with this image. I've been heavily involved with restoring the devastated deserts of Kuwait with the Kuwaiti people. It's a small country with big problems. The Iraqi war destroyed vast areas of the desert. And I took this particular tree on, Acacia gerardii, icon species. When we arrived, there was only one tree left, one native tree left in all of the country, and that's that individual, a heroic survivor. The tree survived the Iraqi war, even though the Iraqis tried to chop it down for firewood. Let's not leave the world to the last tree. And you, the next generation who is in this room, can make a difference, but you need to make the difference now. And I encourage you, please step up to the challenge. The challenge is a worthwhile one, and the future of the planet, your people, and future generations depend upon it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nixon. We appreciate your insightful talk. You have given us an overview of NCI, the activities, and the prospects they have in the society. You started by giving us the history of NCI that is established in 1988 and has grown to more than 5,000 members, which includes individuals across 120 countries, with more than 25% of membership being students, which is a major engagement. We also took us through the different chapters that out of the membership we have 30 student association, 16 chapters with 17 regional chapters in North America, 2 continental chapters in Europe, Australia, Africa, Igbo America, and the Caribbean. You also gave us that there are 2 thematic sections, which are the LAIs and the IERS, the Biodiversity Restoration Section and International Ecosystem restoration sections. This also to consider the support that you have for next generations, which includes fellowship, restoration, fellowship in restoration, fellowship programs,
open doors travel grants for students and researchers that want to attend SAR conferences. He also gave us the insight that students can have
community representation in policy making in the society. They took us through the core programs, which include the core program of SEI, which includes peer review for scientists, peer review
for scientists,
posting restoration resource center, and island papers, which deliver ecological part of the ecological restoration society program practices include certification of ecological restoration practitioners, yes, which deliver regional conferences, webinar workshops, and field trips. They showed that the UN decade on ecosystem restoration and the key activities of the UN next presenter.
Dr. Henny.
Doctor who?
We have questions for our presenters. Questions, those online can just put their questions on the chat area. The questions will be read and answered.
Can we take the presentation of Dr. Akele? Recorded.
Really recording nothing. Let me go from here. It's not online. How to create guide the control maybe you buy big one. Then encrypt. If not encrypt, maybe just one person. Maybe they look just one free each for them. So you know so you know